That's Rushdie Abu Alouf, our correspondent in Gaza. Well, we can talk more now about the Israeli attack on that media centre in Gaza with Jamal Al-Shayal, who's correspondent for Al Jazeera. Now, Al Jazeera had offices inside that building. He joins us now from Doha. That's the headquarters of the Al Jazeera network. Jamal, thanks for being with us. What do you know about this attack on that media building in Gaza?
Well, Ben, what we know is that it is a flagrant breach of international law, that Al Jazeera offices were decimated, destroyed. All of the equipment inside it, everything inside it was destroyed live on TV. And that this is a very clear attempt by a nuclear power to silence journalists and journalism. It's not the first time that we have been targeted as Al Jazeera by the Israeli military. However, this is the most barbaric, quite simply, episode yet, which has seen dozens of my colleagues essentially watch as their livelihood was destroyed in front of them. And to paint a clearer picture for you, Ben, and the viewers in the UK and my journalist colleagues with you at BBC, imagine a broadcasting house essentially watching it being bombed from the sky with nothing to do. These are journalists, award-winning journalists. Al Jazeera actually abides by Ofcom regulations. We are the most professional when we come to report on what is happening. So what we know is that this is a very clear, brazen attempt to silence journalists from reporting what is happening on the ground in the besieged Gaza Strip.
But the Israelis are saying that this is a building that housed the military intelligence of the Hamas terror organization. They are saying, yes, it hosted offices of civilian media outlets like your own, but it also was used by Hamas as a place to hide and also to use your journalists there as human shield. I'm just saying, just so the viewers know, this is what Israel is saying.
And it's a tired argument because it gives no evidence. This is a building that had the Associated Press, a US-owned news agency, one of the world's most renowned news agencies in the world. Do you really think that the Associated Press would be in a building that has Hamas commanders in it? It's offensive to even give that any sort of a reference, because what we've seen from the Israelis, we just saw the Israeli military 2 days ago use journalists as in an attempt to trick the fighters in Gaza into believing that there was a ground operation. This is a state that has no respect for free press, has no respect for the life of journalists, has killed dozens of journalists, including colleagues of mine and friends over the past decade, is refusing entry from international journalists who are currently on the other side of the border because they don't want them to go in and report. So the fact they can say whatever they want to say, really, but there's no evidence whatsoever. The evidence is quite clearly stacked up against them. And the fact that as a British citizen, my government in the United Kingdom and other international members of the international community are doing nothing about this attack on journalists and on free press is, quite frankly, distressing as a journalist, because what it means is that when we go out to do our jobs, we are directly in the line of fire of a regime that has shown little to no respect, in fact, has shown nothing but contempt towards journalists. And it's high time that as journalists, we start calling this out. This is not a question about both sides. It's not a question about impartiality. It's not a question about all of these, lovely utopian ideas. This is a very clear-cut thing where we have seen the buildings of international press being decimated, being transformed into rubble within seconds by one of the world's strongest militaries, and nobody wants to call it for what it is. The same way nobody wants to call the ethnic cleansing that is taking place in Sheikh Jarrah as ethnic cleansing, but we want to talk about it as if it's eviction, as if it's what was happening on the A40 with governments wanting to expand a road and asking people to leave. This is what we're put. It's high time we depart from these nuances that really do not represent the reality, and we call things for what they are.
Jamal, thank you. Good to talk to you. Thank you very much, Jamal Al-Shayal there, a correspondent for Al Jazeera in Doha. Thank you.